Arkansas, for Arkansas. This is Inside Arkansas Live.
And welcome into Inside Arkansas Live here on this beautiful day here in the great state of Nebraska. I'm your host, John Neighbors, alongside Curtis Wilkerson and Andrew Ellison. Appreciate each and every one of you for making us a part of your afternoon this afternoon as we are live from DJ's Dugout here in Omaha for the final time of the College World Series. And I know we're going to have a lot of things to get into today. Listen, we had the bombastic postgame last night. We know about all of that, but after a good night's sleep, or probably not a good night's sleep, or maybe not even any sleep at all, fellas, how are the vibes here today at noon compared to what they were just 12 hours ago?
Oh, I can tell you guys this right now. I'm not going to trip over a nickel on the pathway to 200 million. Okay. Hey, honestly, like the last 10 minutes picked up my vibes a little bit because Coach Cal was on Pat McAfee and didn't really talk about Razorbacks at all outside of his stump for a do thero, but it made me feel a little bit better just to hear him get going. But honestly, it's, the Razorbacks, they're our crack. They're our drug. And it's like the dream is so sweet, right? And that's why we do this. Like it's addicting. It's that pursuit of glory. It's it's just that high that you always crave. And there's something about it just makes you can't get enough of it. You can't walk away from it. We're not going to, no matter what just happened. But sometimes that dream is just like a recurring nightmare, and it just really, really hurts. And that's just kind of where we're at right now,
Absolutely. I think I'm in better spirits than I probably expected to be, and I agree with you that the last 10 minutes picked it up. Cal, I mean, it wasn't like anything great. He didn't drop any groundbreaking news or anything. Like you said, barely even talked about the Razorbacks at all. But Cal was just so funny on Pat McAfee, just name dropping Karl Anthony Towns, Boogie Cousins, all this, playing the hits, as we say. That was good. But I'm with you, man. Like I think during basketball season, I refer to Trevin Brazile as how he's like kind of just one of our own. Like we view him as like our kid almost, because Trevin does stuff that pisses us off, and he's had his ups and he's had his downs, but it's like it feels so good to watch Trevin do anything. Like any success he has feels so good because of how attached we feel to him. And I think that's just big picture how we feel about the Razorbacks. And there's 1,000 people that put on that jersey. There's hundreds of coaches that'll cycle through all this different stuff, but there's certain players and certain teams and certain programs and just moments that we hold dearer than other. And I think like this baseball team, for whatever reason, man, they just feel, I don't know if it's just doing the bombastic, maybe just we've been closer to the team. I don't know. Maybe just the coaching staff liking us helps, but it's like I just felt more connected to this baseball team than any ever. They also might be the best baseball team I've ever covered, honestly. Like that's also not an exaggeration. And so I think the end of the season was going to hurt no matter what. Hell, even if they had won it, how many times do I say I'm looking forward to watching them play? Even if they had won it, I still would have been a little bit bummed out. I'm like, damn,
sadness.
You're like, it's like, damn, we're not going to get to watch them play again. Like, and those are the kind of things that just run through your head. But they really do just feel like a child, where it's like they disappoint you sometimes. They do stuff. Sometimes you gotta. They cost you money. You got to pay. You got to pay for their mistakes and all that. But you love them. And that's why it hurts. And I understand there's a lot of people who are feeling the way they feel about the program and are having a harder time processing it than us, even, I'm sure. And they're well within their rights to do that. But I think that in these moments, now that we're about 16, 18 hours after, I just feel sad because I love the boys, love the squad, love the Hog, and I will never stop loving the Hog, unfortunately.
Yeah. I mean, listen, it's a thing that I think every Razorback fan has to go through at some point in their time, right? I mean, unfortunately, this was the latest one. It seems like it's going too close together. For a while you had, like the 69 shootout with Arkansas, Texas, and then you had like later you had the Clint Sterner fumble in 98. Like I felt like there was a pretty large gap there. But unfortunately for Arkansas, especially with baseball, it's just you're talking about a 7-year span of these things, and then of course we know basketball had a pretty epic disappointment this past year. But even so, like. To have it happen the way it did in the form it did, here's the thing. I'm sure like you guys, a lot of texts or messages or whatever from people from other fan bases, from other, media members or whatever, almost like giving their condolences and all of that. And I appreciate it. But here's the thing, like, there's just even these LSU fans here in the DJ's dugout that were saying this, and they're saying, man, it got, from my perspective, it was a good game. It was just a good, hard-fought game. I don't want to hear that, man. I don't want to hear that. I want to hear that from programs that have championships, because you can lean on that. It's easy for you to say that. It's easy for you to say, hey, hey, it's just a great game. Yeah, because you have multiple championships that you remember, and you have. And anybody, any of these other fan bases or anybody, and I get it. Like, I'm not hating on them because they're just trying to, like, be nice. There are some nice people in other fan bases, believe it or not. But it's just like, I don't want to hear that, because you all know and have felt that. You don't know what it feels like. You have no idea what this feels like for Razorback fans. You can say, I'm sorry. You can do all that. You have no idea how it feels. And I think that is what makes it the toughest thing to try to overcome, is because, usually you lean on people to help you out. Razorback fans just got to lean on each other. I mean, you really do. I know everyone's pissed, and it's hard to lean on people when you're pissed, but that's the best thing for you, because the only people that can understand your pain are other Razorback fans. And this is the time where you just got to lean on each other. Get psyched up, get ready, because, hey, listen, season's going to happen next year. Bombastic's going to keep going. Inside Arkansas Live's going to keep going. Same pot about. We're going to keep doing this. So get in the foxhole. Let's look forward to the next time, man. That's all we can do at this point in time.
Yeah, I mean, there's no doubt about it, man. And really, I mean, I wanted to stay here longer. Personally, I feel like I just got here. You guys have been here for like a week now, but it's I was prepared going into that game yesterday to come in here last night and talk about a loss. I was prepared to talk about the season ending. Like, that reality that it could have happened is, it wasn't lost on any of us going into it. Was not prepared for the way that it went down. And, I know a lot of folks are out there is like, what do you mean? You didn't see this coming? I knew it was going to, I expected it. I didn't even have to watch it. If you feel that way, I'm sorry. But it's just unfairly, uniquely unfortunate the way Arkansas tends to do this. And it hurts and it stings, but I mean, you're absolutely right. It's what we signed up for, and we signed in blood, and that blood is Razorback red, man. So we just keep plugging away, and sometimes on days like today, we've got to eat it, and it's not a lot of fun to talk about, but this is life, man. And I wouldn't trade the good, for the extremely bad that happens on these rare occasions.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, like, look, would it be cool to be covering a championship? Absolutely. Would it be cool to be that program that's had some championships, to have those experiences? Absolutely. But I think the thing that we always kind of cling to is that for Hog fans, it's going to feel so different. We tell ourselves that all the time. They're like, oh, when we witness a championship, it's going to be like, it's going to feel so worth it. And like, it's the reason it's going to feel that way. And the reason we say things like that is because, like you said, John, like, we have each other, we lean on each other. And it's like our lens that we view it through. And everyone outside of the state of Arkansas, they view Arkansas through whatever lens they want to. And, Arkansas in different years, different sports is able to maybe change that narrative or change the way that national people view them. But nobody views it through the lens that we all do.
Yeah.
And I say we, like the three of us, but I mean, just people who have lived it and breathed it. So many people in this fan base who, this is an everyday thing. Like, they're not just going to, because I know there's a lot of people who are doing the thing where they're like, I'm just, I'm done being emotionally invested in the baseball team, blah, blah, blah. Like, and I know there's some people who are like football guys, basketball guys. I'm not even really talking about that, but a lot of people who are just like, well, they didn't win the championship. So, okay, same old, rinse, repeat. This is the same year as every other year. And so it's like, look, if you view it that lens, that's cool. But that's not really what we do here. Like, that's not what we, like, at least us on this show are going to do. And I think a lot of people that listen to this show feel the same way, that it's like, no, it's not just something you just move on. You're like, they didn't get it. All right, screw them. We're moving on. We still experience it every day because we care about the guys in that room, and we care about the guys who are out on that field and the people that made that happen, that made that the program is what it is, and we care about each other, and we want to all experience that together. And so, no, for us, it's not really a thing where you just say, all right, they disappointed us, now we move on and never think about them again. We're gonna think about this a lot, and that's kind of the we've been using the term curse a lot here with the Razorback fans. That's the curse of all Razorback fans, is like, we carry all these things with us. I mean, pretty much 90% of our conversations, the three of us, is talking about moments of past games. Like, these things never leave us, and for better or for worse. And last night, that's certainly for worse. But I think there's a lot of people who I guess I don't know if they're telling the truth or not, but it seems like they very easily forget all the good times that lead up to the bad. I'm not saying it outweighs it or anything, but I feel sorry for those people who their lasting memory of Charles Davalon is going to be him making that play last night. When I think of Charles Davalon for years to come, I'm going to think of a lot of really awesome moments. I'm going to think of him homering against Liam Doyle. I'm going to think of so many cool things. And so I feel sorry for people who only view it through that they didn't get a title lens, because that's a true lens. That is objectively true. But if that's the only takeaway you have from this season, then I do feel sorry for you. Your experience has been different than mine.
Yep, absolutely. And we're going to get to a lot of your chats, folks, because this is going to be a little bit of a therapy session, hopefully, for a lot of you Razorback fans. And we'll have plenty of things to discuss today. And, of course, we'll close up shop. And then after we're done with the show today, we're going to be heading back to the great state of Arkansas. It'll be good to be home. But we want to remind everybody that here inside Arkansas, we're brought to you by our friends over at Macadoodle's Fine Wine, Beer, and Spirits, which a lot of you Razorback fans may be needing some of those fine wine, beer, and spirits to cope or to at least deal with what you've had to witness and what you've had to deal with over the past few days. Well, let Macadoodles help you out there, because they got all the great stuff that you could possibly want, and they always have a location that makes you feel right at home when you walk in, with free popcorn, free coffee, free samples each and every day. They have a large selection of beer, seltzers, liquor, wine, everything that you could possibly want. And still, if you're up here in Omaha, folks, the location here in Omaha, they're still going to honor that. They're still going to get you that free ice if you want to, ice down your wounds or anything like that. But they're also going to give you and hook you up with a Busch Light 30-pack for $16.88 with every $20 purchase. So we really appreciate them. Wish we could have been doing a show from there tomorrow, but you know what? There's always next time up in the College World Series. We really appreciate Macadoodles and their partnership with us here and Inside Arkansas and all the coverage for the College World Series itself. So another thing, too, guys, I know we're going to get to some chats and everything, but I think the question is when you're turning the page, all right, well, who's coming back? Who's coming back? What's his team going to look like next year? I think that's going to be fascinating to see, where there's some of them where you're like, okay, we know for a fact this guy's coming back because he's not draft eligible. But then the other question becomes of like, okay, well, what about the ones that might be? What could be done? Could they possibly decide to return to Arkansas for another year? I think that's where people's mindset is like, what are we going to be able to look forward to next year when it comes to the players and the talent that they have?
Well, I think that's listen, anytime your season, it hasn't even been 24 hours yet. The body's not even cold yet. I'm still kind of in that like weird mode where I like want to still commemorate that and remember that. And listen, we're going to have all these conversations. Like, we're going to continue to do this. But I think the one thing that when I do find myself thinking about that next step and that next chapter, Dave Van Horn, by the way, spoke about it in his press conference yesterday. He's like, we've been on the phone with recruits. We've been talking about, hey, we'd love to get you on a visit when our season ends. Well, now their season has ended. And so that process is about to ramp up pretty immediately here. And again, it's been going on for a while. But I think that's the part of the story that, you can find whatever perspective you want to tell yourself. But I think about a lot of those guys, Cam Kojal, who didn't have the best week in Omaha. And it probably was a whirlwind for him being in his hometown and all that. I think about how last night's result is going to sit with him and how that's going to fuel him for next year. And the next time we watch Cam Kojal play baseball, we're going to be thinking about a lot of this, and he's going to be thinking about a lot of this, and it's going to make it that much more intriguing. Kahio Aloy, who did not have a good week in Omaha by any means. I know Hog fans have been really dragging his name through the mud a little bit. How's this going to affect him this offseason? He's a guy that is on such a positive trajectory, had a breakout sophomore year, was an All-American by some outlets. How's this going to fuel his offseason? Nolan Souza, who didn't get to be a part of this. Carson Wiggins, who didn't get to be a part of this because they were banged up. How do they respond? Ryder Helfrich, Gabe Gackle. You can go on down the list. There's guys that this is going to be a big moment in their life, and some of these guys saw their last memory as a Razorback. But I think about that core of returning guys that are going to come back, and how do they set that tone as the leaders? Because all those guys I just listed are going to be in either captains or leaders of their position group, whatever it is. What kind of culture, what kind of program do they want to set? And this is where I know we can talk about DVH's role and what his job and what he needs to do and all that. This is where DVH, I feel like, shines the most, is getting all these guys on that same page. And so I have no doubt Arkansas is going to hit the portal. They've already gotten a couple nice pickups in the for the pitching staff. They'll look at who they're getting back position player wise. We'll kind of see how the draft plays out. Of course, that's not too far away. But I have no doubt Arkansas is going to put themselves in another position. We'll see what they put out on paper. Ultimately, you got to go out and get it done. But you just get right back on the horse, and that's what we do as fans. That's what this program is going to do. And I think when you really start thinking about it, it won't take Hog fans long to start getting kind of excited about this could actually, could be a nice offseason.
Yeah. And that kind of like the silver linings, though, is always about the players returning, and looking at it is like, hey, this is going to be a pretty good team next year, Like, I know in basketball, for instance, we saw the disappointment there, but it took maybe a little bit longer to know who was coming back and who wasn't because some people were making decisions. But it's kind of like, well, man, what gets you excited? What gets you back? What's the easiest way to get you back on the horse? Is your excitement for the next year. It's the excitement of having some of these players coming back and having the fact that, you're going to have high-level recruiting and high-level transfer portal additions and all of that. It's the easiest way to do it. And, I think right now, there's going to be some decisions to be made by players, and they're going to have to deal with this as much as possible. But it's going to be fine. It's not like this was Arkansas's one shot to ever be a quality team and program, and then suddenly they're just going to fall off the face of the earth. Like, it's not that. They'll be back. It's just a matter of what it's going to look like, and what their NIL situation is, or revenue sharing situation is. I don't even know what the crap's going on with all that noise, but either way, it's going to be fascinating, though. It's going to be fascinating to see how it all plays out. But we're going to be here for it, though, and we're always going to have fun talking about it and discussing it and all that good stuff too. So either way, let's go ahead and get into the chats because I know a lot of people are wanting to express their opinions. Listen, we appreciate everybody who was chiming in last night. There were so many chats we almost couldn't get to them all. But we really appreciate all of the people that were jumping in that, even the trolls and even the jerks that were in there too. But either way, let's do a vibe check of the chat presented by our friends over at Basis Health, where they're changing the way healthcare is delivered by providing those mobile medical visits to the comfort of your very own home, where a doctor will come to your home for urgent care, primary care, IV hydration, and so much more. I feel like probably a few of you may have needed a Basis Health last night to come to your home, especially for that urgent care. But either way, Basis Health, they're here for you when and where you need them the most. You can learn more at basishealth.org today. So looking at a few of your chats, folks, appreciate everybody chiming in. Got to give a shout out to our guy Quinn for the super chat. Just says, I am sorry for y'all. I've experienced a few times with Auburn. Quinn, 2013 national championship game against Florida State and the Final Four against Virginia. I felt heartbroken for y'all.
Yeah, Kelvin Benjamin game-winning touchdown from Jameis Winston. You know what that was, that 2013 national championship game? That was the We Scronged In game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
that's right.
That Virginia game was crazy, too. The foul three-point shooter and all that stuff at the very end. That was, some rough stuff.
Yep.
And also saw your message, by the way, last night, Quinn, and appreciated that, man. That was real nice.
Yeah, really appreciate it, Quinn. But, the 2010 national championship game for y'all, I think, was still pretty nice. You at least got that. Was
cool. You had that going for you.
Yeah, you at least get to hang your hat onto that one. Shout out to guy Robert Hurst. He said, I'm sad like everybody else, but I'm looking forward to Andrew breaking down all the new recruits and all the guys in the transfer portal to see what kind of team we have next year. So,
and there we would definitely be doing that, man. It was kind of funny how many people reached out and were like, so what's the lineup going to be? I'm like, hey, let's who's
our Sunday starter?
Let's at least have the funeral first. Like, geez. But no, absolutely no doubt about that. I mean, obviously I'd much rather be covering games this weekend, but it's not going to take long for that page to be turned. And like I said, Arkansas's got 2 portal commits for their pitching staff already. I imagine they'll have a much more firm idea of what position player needs they'll have and how that's all going to shake out after the draft and after these next couple of weeks. But it's not going to take a whole lot. That's the good thing, is there's such a good returning core in place. It's not like they're sitting there like, okay, we need to replace 7 spots in the lineup. We have to get a Friday starter, a Sunday starter, and a closer, and all these things. Arkansas's got a really good starting point, a really good, obviously, coaching staff in place to make that happen, and I have no doubt that they're gonna reload pretty well. And we look forward to breaking it down on the Bombastic Podcast.
Yep, it's gonna be great. Shout out to Tuna's House of Influence. I appreciate everything y'all do. Good days and bad. One sad day to be a hog. Glad John's talking. Enjoy the summer. I'll be back I'll be back before long. Enjoy the summer.
Tuna's House of Influence just out of here, bro. Yeah. He's just like, listen, season's over. Deuces, man. I'll see y'all in August whenever it's time to talk about Taylor Green.
Yeah. I'm happy to see a smile on John's face today, though.
Yeah.
Last night was a rough one.
Yeah.
He did not want to participate in our shenanigans when we got back to the Airbnb.
No.
He just needed to.
He didn't even want to watch the Rocky speech, man.
He just needed to get through it in his mind. And but yeah, when he walked out this morning, I could tell he was doing a little bit better. He took 1% better today.
Yeah.
So that's all we can ask for.
Yeah. I mean, listen, we all cope with our disappointments in our own ways.
Andrew does it by pulling up YouTube videos.
Yes, he does. Every time. But yeah, listen, we all got it. And then that's kind of always been my thing. And disappointments, I just kind of been just in silence, and I go through my own mind and trying to. I feel like that's the quickest way for me to get over it is just rationalize it in my mind, and then get at least a full 45 minutes of sleep, and then I'm back on it. I'm back on it. So
we eventually turned on the press conference. We hadn't listened to it yet, so we eventually turned that on and listened to Dave's presser, and that didn't help because it just made you feel infinitely more sick to your stomach for that man and everything. And
although we got a good we had to pause the video because we were laughing so hard when they asked Ryder Helfrich, "What's it like playing for Dave Van Horn?" And Ryder Helfrich, who's as sad as anyone could be, he sits there and he goes, "It's been a pleasure." It's just like, I don't know why it just cracked us up so much. It was like 1 o'clock in the morning by this point when we were just giggling, laughing at Ryder Helfrich saying, "Well, it's been a pleasure to play for Dave Van Horn, this 19-year-old kid." It just cracked me up. Which, by the way, Ryder Helfrich, 417-foot nuke, 15 home runs on the year, first team All-American going into next year. Suck it, haters.
Yeah, worst catcher I've seen in 10 years, though, apparently, according to sources. But either way, thank you, sir. But it was fun to just go through. Not fun, I shouldn't say. It was just nice to see the way people handle it and the way Dave handled it. I was thinking about playing clips today from Dave's presser in the show. I really didn't want to do that because it's just going to bring down. It just makes you sad, man. Yeah. It just makes you so sad because he doesn't deserve that. He deserves more than this, and there's nothing he could have done. Nothing he could have done differently.
I know that stuff rolls downhill, and it starts at the top, and I completely understand all that, and I'm frustrated too that they've had these opportunities and they've been squandered the way that they have and everything, and it's just I don't know how anyone could watch the way that Dave Van Horn handled that moment and that presser and everything that went into that at the end of that game last night. And be able to hit send on a tweet saying he's got to go.
Yeah,
I just don't know how you can do that. I mean, I can't. Like preparing to be a father, I think about me. It'd be awesome if my son's an athlete and everything like that. And if we're ever looking for a school for him to go to, if I can find somebody that's like half the man and half the leader of men that Dave Van Horn is, I consider us very, very fortunate. I mean, that dude is awesome.
Yeah.
And like the old expression, I've run through a brick wall for him. I do it twice. I absolutely love Dave Van Horn, and I want it for him so bad. But more than anything, I'm just glad he doesn't get on social media too much. Man. You know what I mean? Because that dude is golden.
Yep.
He really is.
And listen, dude, if there were anybody because we all have this mentality of like what we deserve, and we always say Hog fans deserve this, and we deserve to cover a championship, we deserve this, and listen, I feel that's true. If there's anybody who should feel like they are not getting what they deserve, it would be Dave Van Horn. If there's anybody who should be like livid and should be like yelling at Charles Davalon and should be yelling at Vevo Loy and should be yelling at everyone, it would be very easy for Dave to completely lose his mind and to just go crazy and be like, how can y'all screw this up? I've sat here, I've put together this freaking magnificent roster. We've given you guys every tool possible to succeed. We put you out here on the biggest stage in the world and you poop down your leg. It would be very easy for Dave to be pissed off. Mm-hmm. In fact, he probably should be pissed off. And I bet he is deep down, but in front of those kids, he had a chance to show them something that they would remember forever. Charles Davalon is never in his life going to forget the way that his coach had his back, told him he loved him, went to the press conference and defended him and said, we wouldn't be here without Charles Davalon. Yep. You could take 10 wins off our record without Charles Davalon. Didn't say anything bad about Vahiva. Didn't say anything bad about Reese Robinette. Just gave his perspective, took it like a man when he didn't have to. And I mean, of course he does have to because he's the head coach. It's his job. But the way that he stood up for his guys and the way that he was a rock and just a sign of stability and leadership, I thought it was very important for him to be as stoic and as stone-faced in that moment. Because think about it, it's the worst moment of his life as well. He's sitting there going through it, and there's nobody there to console him. He doesn't have that leader to look to, and so it just says a lot. And of course, he's been here, he's done that, he's dealt with the heartbreak. He knows how to. Unfortunately, he knows how to handle this because he's been in this situation before. But I just think it says a lot because you see someone's real character when they're in the worst moment of their life, and they're still doing the right thing. They're still doing right by the kids. And that's what Dave Van Horn does. And listen, there's a lot of coaches like Dave Van Horn. There's a lot of great people in sports. And but anybody who truly feels like Dave Van Horn is in any way, shape, or form not getting Arkansas, like not doing enough for this Arkansas program. He has brought them literally as close. He has accomplished as much as you possibly could without doing the thing. Would we like him to do the thing? Of course, that's the goal. That's what we want to happen. We won't ever be satisfied if we don't get that. But the idea that Dave is in the way of that and not the one who is literally moving them ever closer, getting them as close as possibly can, like that he's not the catalyst. It's just insane. I don't know how someone could have that perspective.
Well, then, and also to add to that, when it comes to people saying, he chokes or whatever, it would be one thing if Arkansas would have gotten to World Series and then they get blown out every time. Like, oh, you get there, but you get blown out. Or if never make it to the finals, or if you do make it to the finals, there's always that better team that just beats the crap out of you and you're just not talented. Like that he didn't recruit well enough, that he didn't have enough depth, he didn't do all this. But now we've seen 2 occasions, one of them like directly, but even this one, you still have work, because let's be honest, guys, you're still going to have work to do. 100%. You're going to have work to do. So it wasn't like this was, if Davon catches that ball, you'll win the World Series. Like you were going to have work to do, but it's like those are the 2 little things, and where you're in it. You were put in a position to win. Dave Van Horn put you in a position to win, and you just didn't. So like I don't get down for all of that, and also I don't know how you don't get choked up. Like when Dave was last night, man, of course, he's handling everything like a professional. But when he's basically saying, he's like, everybody says kids change these days. Kids haven't changed. All they want to know is that you care about them. And he just got choked up. I was like, golly, dude.
That killed me.
It's like cutting onions over here, man. It was killer.
And it's such a selfless thing, too. And this is not the glazed DVH show, but it's just true, man. In that moment, you think about everything that's been tagged to him, everything that he's done, like all the adversity the program has been through from this particular standpoint, just, the rerun or the recurring nightmare of what happened several years ago down here. And it's just, like you said, Andrew, like he had every reason to feel sorry for himself, to feel bad for himself, to be angry for himself, to be upset for himself. And he's moved to tears because he knows how hard his team has taken it. And he knows what this means for the players and, the guys that just went through that out there. And, it's having their back. I mean, I thought that was great. I was really, really impressed with him. I can't imagine anyone being able to handle that better. I know I sure as hell wouldn't have been able to.
Sure as hell wouldn't, and I didn't. I was in a position way different than him, and I was handling it way worse. But I think we talked about this a little bit going into the postseason or going into Omaha, that like all these kids come to Arkansas from all over the world. By the way, I mean literally you have an Australian, a Canadian, Hawaiians. You have all this. You had a kid from South Korea last year. Literally all over the world, and these kids find a home, at Arkansas. And I think that's what, as a fan of the program and as a fan of the Hogs, like. That's awesome to me. Like I always love whenever people like Chris Lanzilli from Boston that like come to Fayetteville, and now Fayetteville is his home. And it's like he thinks that like he feels, like we've accepted him and all that. And like Dave said, the kids just want to know that you care. And I loved when he talked about Cam Kojal and how he struggled in the fall, and then they had a lot of really good chats with him, and they were like, "Man, you're the guy. Like we know we know how good you are. Just go be you. Like we don't need you to be anything other than who you are." And he feels that way about Davlon. He feels that way about Vahiva and like all these guys who became men, under Dave Van Horn. And like, they'll never forget a lot of that. Of course, would have loved for it to culminate in not the most catastrophic loss in sports history. Right. But I think I just, again, I come back to those kids are never going to forget watching Dave handle that moment and knowing how much he cared about them, knowing how much he loved them. And I hope they know that, like, obviously there's a lot of negativity online. There's not a lot of negativity in the fan base. And I'm sure they've read some of that. I'm sure they've seen some of that, but I hope they know that we also feel that way about them. Like, it's like, you're a Hog, man. And like, we're sad. We might even be upset with you sometimes, but it's like, we embrace you. Like you are us, man. And they're one of us. And this team absolutely, like that was a Razorback team. Like I don't want to say they played like a wild band of Razorback Hogs, but it's like that team was Arkansas, man. They embodied the state so well. They embodied the school. I could not be more proud of just being able to watch that team up close.
Yeah, for sure. I wanted to bring this up real quick just to piggyback on what we're talking about here from that presser. Transplanted Texan says there will be time for further reflection on in-game decisions, but this is probably not the best time when emotions are so raw after a loss. And that's what makes those moments so difficult when you got to go sit up there in a podium after something like that just happened, like a few minutes after it just happened. And I've been in those several times. where questions have been asked and you'll hear a coach say, like, it just happened. Like, it's too fresh. I don't know. I got to go watch,
Yeah.
and they blow it off, or they deflect or whatever. He sat there and he was asked about every single instance, every single decision that he made. He was asked about the fly ball to left. He was asked about why didn't Vahiva turn the double play.
Yeah.
He was asked about not taking Gacko out in the 6th right there. He was asked about pitching to Jones at the very end. And he sat there and had an answer, a thoughtful and a respectful one for every single question. He didn't duck any of it. He wore it, and that shows a lot of accountability. So it's also leadership, having your team's back, but then also, the leadership of by example, of being able to sit there in that moment and be a man and handle it. And it's a reflection on his team. It really is.
Yeah. And I want to continue to talk about that because there's another few points I want to make, but I want to remind everybody that here at Inside Arkansas, we're brought to you by Freedom Boat Club of Arkansas. We know summer's officially here. And for some of you, summer is so officially here, you're just jumping off the Inside Arkansas bandwagon. So we really appreciate that. But geez, you guys are done. I'll see y'all later. But if you're going to do that, then hey, at least go out on the boat, right? Get on the lake and enjoy yourselves with Freedom Boat Club of Arkansas, where they give you access to boats without the commitment, where you have it's a way to fit your lifestyle, where it's fun, flexible, and stress-free, where you get all the great things of owning a boat without actually owning a boat, without actually doing with all the maintenance and all the cleaning and all that stuff. They take care of you. And they have 3 locations in the state of Arkansas. So lake time is so much closer than you think, whether you prefer Greer's Ferry Lake, whether you prefer Lake Hamilton, or a day on the river down there in Little Rock. Freedom Boat Club of Arkansas will help make your summer in the natural state the best one yet. So check out the website today at www.freedomboatclubar.com. That's freedomboatclubar.com to learn more today about the benefits of joining the club, or you can scan that QR code there at the top right corner of your screen. We were talking about Dave Van Horn, and I think that this is something that I'm pretty sure this was the case, but it's a super chat from Stripey's Wig. But he said, was it Chuck sitting next to Dave Van Horn when he got emotional after the Supers? That thought was haunting him last night. Poor kid, feel for him.
Yeah, it was. It was when he was doing the little pat thing, like he was patting his grandpa. It was Charles, man. And Charles is such a, I said it last night. It's so funny that, like, of all the players we've had to defend and be like, guys, y'all don't need to be this mean. I really don't think I've ever read one negative tweet or opinion about Charles until last night.
Yeah.
And that's what's so funny is he was so unanimously loved, but personality-wise, I think he's also a huge vocal leader in that locker room. And I think you could tell the way that everyone felt about him by the way they all gravitated to him. And I'm sure everybody's seen the videos from the news outlets that have been putting out all the hugs and stuff. But I think it says a lot about Charles, that how the players all knew they were like, hey, we need to be here for him right now.
Well, and I want to throw this out there, and maybe this is looking way too deep into it, but just kind of knowing the situation, what I think would be awesome, and maybe Charles Davalon doesn't want this, but it'd be great if Carson Chatty reached out to Charles Davalon.
Yeah.
I mean, just to be like, hey, let me tell you what I went through.
He should start a group text with Reese, with Eva and Charles, just like, hey, we're going to knock this out in one.
Yeah, just get it all together. But, I mean, maybe that'd be something that would help Charles, because somebody that's gone through, because I felt the same way with Carson Chatty. And, Twitter was different back then. But, I don't remember anyone saying anything bad about Carson Chatty really until 2018.
Truly,
so, it's like maybe that'd be something that would help him out. I don't know.
You know what I think is going to help Charles? I think he's going to get a phone call here in a few weeks, and it's going to sound a little bit like this. Hey, Charles, this is the Tampa Bay Race. We would like to offer you a signing bonus of $1.8 million. Would you like to sign? You can wipe your tears with the first $250,000, but you can keep the rest. The other one, it's like I think that's going to be the phone call that'll really help.
He's going to tell him he's not tripping on nickels. He's coming back to Arkansas, baby.
John Calipari needs to reach out to Charles Davalon and be like, Charles, you're going to play 15 years in the big leagues. Who cares? Omaha doesn't even have internet. They're not even going to remember that.
Dave's got to tell him, listen, man, if you want to do what's best for you and your family, put your name in that draft. You want to do what's best for me and my family, come on back next year.
Dude, for those who may not understand our references, John Calipari went on Pat McAfee's show right before we went on the air, and he was electric. He was awesome. So after you get done with this show, watch it, that interview with him, because it was incredible. Yeah, it will. It really will. Let's see. Bo says, is there zero chance we get as good transfers for next year who are as good as Chuck, Maxwell, Root, Kozel, Kuhio, and JT?
So it's interesting because I think Arkansas, if you look at their transfer portal class last year, it was a ton of really good evaluations that worked out well. And it was a class that ranked well. Like, I think it was ranked by 6-4 Analytics as like either the number 2, number 3, number 4 class, depending on where you looked. Like, it was unanimously viewed well. But Charles Davlon was a good transfer portal piece. He was a top 100 player. He was not projected to hit 350 and hit 15 home runs and all that. He
didn't even do that at
right. He hit 284 at FGCU.
Right.
Logan Maxwell was a nice player, senior, experienced, top 100 transfer. He wound up way outperforming that expectation. Same for Cahillo. Cahillo was ranked like 470 in the portal or something crazy. There's a lot of that. Justin Thomas Jr., was not like this massive. Brent Iredale was the guy that coming out of JUCO was like, oh, God, that was the big one. Cam Kojal, he was expected to be a huge transfer as well. And Root, of course, he had that. But like Arkansas also had some things that Rocco Pepe was ranked higher than a lot of those guys that you listed. Didn't necessarily work out. Michael Anderson was another guy that wasn't a massive transfer. Didn't necessarily work out. Landon Beitelgeuse, who was unbelievable last night, like he was the number 2 pitcher in the portal, and it didn't quite. And so it's like I think Arkansas could put together a class that is ranked very similarly, in that top 5 range. Will they get everyone to overachieve in that way? I don't know, but it's not like on paper last year after that portal class was put together, everyone was like, whoa. Yeah, can't believe they did this. Like I like the roster, and I had a lot of public thoughts about the roster and thought they did a good job, and they did. But it wasn't unanimously viewed as like this sustainable roster that they broke the bank to get. They just went out there and got some players that they felt fit the culture, and it worked out really well. I think they're in a position to do something pretty similar, and they don't have as many pieces to fill as they had last year.
Yeah, that's totally true. And also, let's see. Sorry, I'll go ahead and read this one real quick. But Jose's Tamara said, "Hey, at least we still have Inside Arkansas." That's right.
We are here.
You are blessed, and you're privileged to have us being around here. Also, I want to give a shout out to Elliot. It's a great to meet y'all yesterday. Woo Pig as always. Elliot was. I want to give a shout out. Hopefully, he doesn't mind me saying this, but Elliot is a young guy that just came up here on his own by himself. Yeah. Really had no plan.
Stud.
Just wanted to come up to the College World Series and experience it. I think he had been here before. But he went to school in Alabama, not out of Alabama, but in the Birmingham area. Got a job up in Northwest Arkansas. He hasn't started yet, so he had some time to kill. So he just drove up here by himself and hung out. And so we kind of took him under our wing for like an hour. But either way, it was cool to see him, cool to meet him, and we really appreciate you, Elliot.
He's a vibe, man.
Yeah, he is. Yeah,
it was a good time.
Yep, just a diehard Razorback fan. Let's see. Okay, so let's go ahead and address this because I know a lot of people have been asking about it. Like Bo says, do y'all know why Vevo Loy was not at the presser? I know he was devastated, but I wish we could have heard from him.
So not only do we not know, I haven't reached out. I heard there was a lot of weird stuff going on because, my buddy Hutch was texting me saying that they didn't open up the locker rooms to the players, which is like an NCAA policy. You're supposed to do that. And so I don't know if that was just the U of A stepping in and being like, hey, we don't want y'all to talk to players and we don't want anybody to talk to Vahiva or whatever. I don't know if that was Vahiva making that decision. I have a hard time imagining that Vahiva was like, no, I'm not going. I don't think that's what happened. Could it have been just a lot of times, because Oliver Grigg is the SID. I've seen him go to get a player and be like, we'll say, hey, yeah, can we get Charles Davlon? And then he'll come back and say, I couldn't find Charles, but I got Logan. And we talked to Logan Maxwell. That could have happened. I really don't know. I don't know if anybody should be like talking about that. Not that it's not an important thing. Like, not that there's a real reason for it or whatever. We just don't know. And I don't think it's really like I think I saw a lot of people doing speculation that immediately jumped to he doesn't care about his team and he quit on him, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, maybe you don't need to go that far. But I also don't I can't tell you a definitive, this is what happened.
Yeah. Because it was kind of the same thing. Maybe not exactly, but like I remember after the basketball, like Boogie Flan, for instance, that dude, like he was in the locker room, but he was hiding himself. Like he had zipped up his thing and he was not even talking to anybody. He had his headphones in and stuff. So I don't know. Was it something like that in the locker? If they didn't open the locker room, if they did open the locker room, was it somewhere he wasn't even there? I don't know. Like, there's so many different reasons why.
Vahiva is also one of those dudes. Like anytime anybody tries to interview him, he has a lot of media obligations. He has a lot of weird things. Like I haven't been able to speak to him one-on-one like ever.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like, I don't think he strikes me as someone who has a lot of obligations.
Yeah, that's for sure. Shout out to our guy Dre. Basis Health, appreciate you for the super chat. He goes, not sure what's worse, losing or knowing that football season is next. Jeez, man.
It's without a doubt knowing football season is next. Like, without a doubt.
And that sucks, dude. And like, that just sucks. And it's I'm not hating on anybody or saying you're wrong for feeling that way, because I kind of feel that way too. But man, that's a sucky feeling. Because after basketball, it's like, man, baseball. Now it's almost like, hey, when's basketball again? Like, when can we?
There's no overlap. Like, we also have to wait for a few months, so it's like you almost have to get yourself somewhat excited for football. I'm gonna do everything I can to talk myself into it, because I can't wait until November to have something to lean on. I imagine by the time the season gets rolling around and we've got college football Saturdays and everything, you'll be like, all right, hell yeah, here we go. But right now it is it's kind of dreadful, man.
Listen, it's all about the lens you view it through, where again, if you viewed baseball through this lens of they have to win the title or I'm not going to be happy, then you're probably not happy, and that sucks. And I'm sorry for that. If you view football through the lens of they have to be good or I'm going to be happy or I'm not going to be happy, that's dangerous. I do not view it through that lens this year, and so we'll see how it plays out.
Yeah, and I will say, just for everybody, please, I'm going to be at SEC Media Days, football media days. Just hang out with me. Just be excited about some football. It'll be great. It'll be fun. It'll be entertaining.
We'll have the new game by that point, right?
Yeah, the new video game will be coming out. We'll get to interview some cool people. Like, there's reasons to get. I'm trying over here.
I just realized I left my PS5 at Wes's house.
You know what's funny is he sent me a picture. I was going to wait until the right opportune moment.
I just, like, as we were talking about this, I thought about it, and I was like, dude, I didn't even play the PS5.
Just sent me a picture of Andrew's PlayStation 5. He goes, this is Andrew's. And I'm like,
very much is.
Yes, very much is. And I was like, man, of all the things for Andrew to leave, without doubt, the most valuable thing he left there in the house.
I mean, not even
we
close.
got in the truck, and John was like, he was like that dad with the kids in the car. He's like, is everybody comfortable with that?
Yeah.
Like,
everybody's seatbelts on.
Everything? Yeah. Didn't forget anything.
Yeah. Did you go to the bathroom before we leave?
That man remembered to give me my socks back, but he didn't get to
I mean, seriously, dude, that's what's crazy. But it's because I never actually plugged it up and played it. At any point while we were here for a week, I was like, oh yeah, I'll play the PS5. Did not play it once. I was grinding.
Yeah. Well, hey, listen, that's it's okay. Luckily, Wes just let us know. He's like, I don't know where the PS5 is. I don't know what you're talking about.
Could have flipped that bad boy.
Yeah, but Wes, I guess we'll make a swing back over to your place on our way out to get Andrew's PlayStation 5. So, but I'm glad you remembered that too. Let's see a few other chats here. I like this one. Gregory Hogg says, "Do Diggs and McIntyre sue the NCAA for a 12th year of eligibility?"
Oh man,
that would be funny, but no,
man. No. I think they will move on to greener pastures. And I love both of those guys. I really do.
Yeah.
But I also the fan base ruined it for everyone. And so it's like, honestly, I'm not gonna miss those conversations. Hey, y'all don't have to be mean to Will McIntyre. Hey, y'all don't have to be mean to Kendall Diggs. I'm not going to miss that at all.
No, I'm not.
I said that about Brady Slavens too. Like, when I love Brady Slavens' career, and he was honestly like an awesome player. But like when he graduated, I was not like, oh man, I'm gonna miss Brady Slavens. I was like, I think we all needed to move on from the discourse.
Yeah, and listen, it sucks because it's like this is the way in every sport. Like I felt like in basketball season, we're having to defend Trevin Brazil a lot of times. Just for the nonsense and stuff. It gets nauseating, but unfortunately, it seems like every sport and every year they just like there's this one, at least one. They're like, this person, if anything goes wrong, this person. And I'm gonna yell about him, and you're gonna hear about it. It's like same thing like Hudson Clark. It's gonna happen no matter what. It just sucks. Let's see a few more here as well. Wawa Land says, "Do you feel worse now or at this time last season?" I think this is
no, dude. Curtis.
Andrew, I agree with Curtis.
What are you talking about?
I agree with Curtis, man.
Dude, no. If y'all are really thinking about what we were doing on June 19th last year, and just really think about our lives and just the state of affairs we were in and the results of the postseason added with that, last year, billion times worse.
Well, I mean, are we equating what was going on in our personal lives with it, or are we just talking about the moment of the season coming to an end?
Well, if you add the personal lives in it, it's not even close last year. But also, I same for the season too. I would much rather I would much rather my season end here than at Baum-Walker Stadium. I would much rather this, and I'm being dead serious.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I agree on that standpoint, but the way it ends, it's almost like
it hurts a lot, and it's a different experience. But
yeah,
I would much rather get here and lose embarrassingly
We're
than
quickly drastically downgrading what happened last night.
Yeah, I know.
No,
That's what I was
listen,
saying, man.
Yeah, last night was a travesty. It was a tragic, horrifying, like one of the worst losses ever. But I would still rather that than lose to SEMO at home.
Yeah. I mean, well, the one question of the day was, where does this rank among your all-time Razorback disappointments in sports history? And I mean, I had leading the way at 37% as second, only behind the drop foul ball. And it going
second behind losing to SEMO at home.
Yeah, I just
listen. That's not the question. Is like which loss, like which game was the worst like game to lose your season in. I'm just talking about like he just says, do you feel worse now or at this time last season? I felt dead inside this time last season. Like I was so broken by them just like not being able to get out of their own regional. This one I'm like really in pain by, and it sucks. But it's like I'm not as depressed as I was.
Mm. Yeah, I don't know.
This year's team is just objectively a cooler group,
which is why it sucks worse.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's to
me. I mean, it's like I just don't know. Like there's always the question of like with DVH, like is he ever going to win one? Is Arkansas ever going to win one? Yeah, probably, or they're certainly capable of doing that. But are they ever going to have a better opportunity with a better team, with a better path, with things breaking their way better than they did this entire? I don't think so. I don't think they will. And it ended the way that it did.
I think I'm not even going to push back against that. Like I think that's that's kind of almost a different conversation though. You know what I mean? Like, and maybe in 5 years I'll look back and I'll be like, yeah, that really was like that was the worst moment ever. But I'll just like my big thing is I would much rather my season end here, even in the way it ended, rather than like ending it in the regional where you're not even a part of the fun at all. You have to watch 2 weeks worth of NCAA tournament, without you. Like not even like nobody even remembers that happened.
Yeah, I know. I agree with that sentiment. I guess I look at it. Maybe this is what a little bit from Curtis too of what I'm looking at it as. It's like last year though, like you had nobody that was really batting over 300. Like you had Hagen Smith. Not to say that everyone thought that you're going to lose in the regionals, but there's still a lot that was going on. I'm like, this year I actually everyone felt like this was the best team in the country, and to do it to LSU, to lose that way to LSU. On this stage, because we have to watch Sports Center and everything lead off with this crap.
Loss on repeat every 10 seconds.
Yeah, that's. I mean, again, I hate the fact we're here having a measuring contest of what sucks the most. Like that's a terrible.
I also do remember sitting at Mom Walker after that game doing the post game. After the SEMO, and we were just like, "What?" Yeah. I mean,
it took me. I was like, this loss, I've already even kind of mentally been able to like talk about. But more so just because the actual season was so much more fun. And so at least in this season, I'm able to look back and say, man, but this team fought. They had so much talent, man. They had so many awesome moments. Last year's team really just didn't have that many. I mean, they won a lot of games. They didn't have a lot of awesome moments.
I do think I would be 100% on board with this if they just lost last night.
Yeah, I would agree. I would agree.
I think 100%.
Yeah, if they would have lost 10-2, I would be. But
you're slowly talking into it, though, I think.
Yeah.
I'll give you credit.
I think John's point about the fact if that had been the title game, maybe it's a little bit different too. But it's like it's not like they lost and they lost in the most horrific way possible. But it's like they probably would have lost today.
Oh, if
you know what I mean? Like or Coastal would have just kind of weathered the storm.
When we were walking from the stadium last night to over here, we both said that this was worse than 2018. That's how we felt at the time.
No, 100%.
We were both like, this is the worst thing ever. And then we got a little bit of perspective.
The inning is objectively worse.
No, yeah.
The inning and like the results of it, like that is worse.
You had a 2-run lead with a 1 out. Or 2 outs.
2 outs, yeah. 2 outs and a ball hit directly at your left fielder. Like that's tough.
Let me ask this question. So, and what were those options again? Top
two.
It's
like top 2 because it's like the first one I feel like has to be is like top 2, top 3, top 5, top 10.
What else would be in the top 5?
I mean,
so we're talking about just all sports.
All sports. Clint Sterner, Sternover for sure.
Sure. Yeah. The UCLA one, basketball, 95.
That was tough. Yeah, a title game. I mean,
Reggie Fish's fumbled punt in the SEC title game, definitely.
A couple months ago.
Yeah, Texas Tech in the NCAA tournament. I think for sure is in
The
there.
North Carolina, Mike Anderson, Adriel Bailey,
yeah.
Dusty Hannahs, all
Yep.
them.
That's I mean, it's a bad one, but a good
That's
example.
a good one, yeah.
That may round out the top 5. I mean,
Yeah.
you're gonna have some old heads say like
I don't know, dude.
1969. But
Some of those football losses like that were like low stakes, like when they lost to ULM, I think that was one of the most horrifying moments of my life personally.
Yeah.
Like I know that it wasn't like losing a championship, but it's like that was a embarrassing realization to come to.
I mean,
that was hard. It was hard to look myself in the mirror after losing.
You could
ULM.
even say losing to Missouri that 2016 football season at the end of the year. That was like basically the beginning of the end for Brett Bielema, which I'm not saying it's in top 5.
Curtis was live for that one. Did you feel like it was top 5?
No, I think that one was maybe just a top 10 one for me.
Which one was that? I'm sorry.
The Missouri one in Como 2016 where they blew a huge lead, and then that was like pretty much like you said the end for Brett
It's up
Bielema.
there on my list.
Yeah.
That was a tough one, dude.
And having to perp walk out of that stadium was that was a rough experience.
I'll tell you an underrated one, low key. Like and I was like young when this one happened. McFadden sophomore year when they lost to LSU in Little Rock 31-26.
Yeah, that was tough.
Casey Dick was like 3 for 17, and it's like if he had been 5 for 17, Arkansas won.
Mm-hmm.
That was a tough one because I thought it cost them a national championship in the moment.
Clay had a great one too here in the chat to Ryan Mallett in the Ohio State Sugar Bowl.
I thought about that
that's
one.
That's a pretty tough one.
It was a tough one, but at the same time, it's like, would that have changed that much? You know, if they had won that Sugar Bowl versus lost that Sugar Bowl.
To me, it would have, just because it's like you would have beaten Ohio State and you won a BCS game, which at the time, I know it doesn't mean anything now, but at the time, winning a BCS bowl game was.
But it's like they ran
massive.
it back the next year and won the Cotton Bowl and went 11-2. And I know Cotton's not a BCS bowl, but it's like, did that feel that different than 2010?
I think maybe it was just because to that moment you had never been something like that in a long time, and it was like you didn't know what the next year was going to be. You know, you didn't know you were going to go 11-2. But I think in the moment it felt like, golly,
bowl games, dude. Bowl games, low key, just like they're like mean nothing, you know, to me. And I know they're BCS and blah blah blah, but like I don't know, like I just don't think bowl games ever affect anything. And I think we've all kind of realized that since. Yeah. Whereas like a lot of those horrible losses, like the reason they hurt so bad is because you're like, holy cow, now we have 2 losses and we're not going to make the title game. Oh, crap, we have 5 losses. We might not make it, you know, like, like even ULM, it was like, holy cow, it was week 2. It's like, oh, crap, the rest of the season's about to suck. We just lost to ULM. Whereas like losing the Sugar Bowl, it's like, all right, the game that nobody remembered happened.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, it's like Logan, I guess when y'all pulled this up, says the fact we can sit here and do this is sad, man. Well, this was going to be my point.
We got 20 minutes left.
The fact that he brought this up was kind of was going to be my next point. I'm like, it's always about perspective, because then you think about the games that you can add into this is which are the ones that can continue to get brought up, you know, time and time and time and time again. Like, I mean, like the baseball 2018 obviously is there. I think football, people bringing up the Sternover, but also even like the 2010 Alabama game, people bring up all the time.
I had a buddy at my house. I locked him out of my room because I was like, I don't want to hang out with you anymore, bro. Go home. Call your mom and tell her to come pick you up. I do not want to hang out anymore after that game. Ty Langston brings up a good one. The Honey Badger punt return game where Arkansas jumped out 14-0 on number 1 LSU and wound up losing to the best college football player ever. Another one that's a LSU's daddy moment, and I hate LSU.
Here's the thing about this too is like every fan base can do this, Logan, but not every fan base can get that deep on a list that quickly like we just did.
Deep,
dude. We just rattled off like 15 of them in the matter of 5 minutes.
Everybody's got a couple where it's like, oh yeah, that was brutal. Yeah, we were just we're like
we got ours on file here, like
Red
Sox favorites.
Red Sox fans are like, oh, everybody remembers Buckner. I'm like, yeah, but do you remember you had like a Buckner every 3 years, bro?
Yeah, exactly right. We'll continue to get to your chats, folks. Appreciate everybody tuning in, but want to let everybody know that we're brought to you by our friends over at Bryant Technologies Network and Security Services, where Bryant Technologies is dedicated to delivering that high-quality network infrastructure and security to your home and to your business when it comes to all those camera solutions for your security. And they take pride in their exceptional workmanship, commitment, and keeping your business operations seamlessly connected and secure. Whether it's structured cabling, security camera installation, digital signage, or TV mounting, Bryant Technologies has you covered. They service the entire state of Arkansas, as well as Arkansas's bordering states. So have Bryant Technologies help you with all of your network and security needs. But give them a call today at 870-883-0330, or check them out on their website at bryantstechnologies.com. That's bryantstechnologies.com with that S in between. It's Bryant Technologies, quality work guaranteed. All right, a few more of your chats. Appreciate everybody. Got a few supers here. Fishman says, we were in the Final Four. Twitter tough guys people need to get a grip on reality. I'm proud of the team. Don't care what anyone thinks. So
I'm stunned by the growth we've seen from Fishman. I feel like he was one that used to get down in the dumps a lot, but look at him.
Yeah.
You know, offering a beacon of hope in this trying time.
Yeah, it's we're training him. We're coaching him up a little bit, I guess. Shout out to, I like this Odell outside his therapy fee. Less hogs by 90 for discount code. So yeah, we're giving that therapy fee, but we're giving the therapy, but no fees. You just tapping in with us and hanging out with us, and we're all working through this together, folks. We're all working through it together. Also, Chef Boy Arlie says, I woke up and it felt even worse. Like Andrew said last night, I wish last night was a dream.
There was a brief moment when I woke up where I was like, "Okay, was that a dream? No, okay.
No.
Like, open my phone, see Twitter. Oh yeah,
Wasn't that a Nelly song that he had? It was only just a dream.
only just a dream. I was thinking about her, thinking about us, thinking about who we gonna be.
That's it.
Yeah,
that was the one. Let's see. Kingsley, appreciate you. Says, y'all preaching today. Everything sucks today, but find a way to lead with gratitude. Thank you, Kingsley.
We're following DVH's lead, man. We're putting on a brave face and facing the music.
Yeah, which is not easy to do for anybody's sake, but hopefully, like Dave. Like, when do you think it'll be the next time we actually hear from Dave in a press conference or anything like that? Does he do any off season?
Yeah, but yeah, he'll do off season one. Sometimes they do like a postseason, but then sometimes, like you said, they do like a pre-draft one.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and so that might be just both. Like maybe in about a week or so, maybe 2 weeks. I think the draft is like July 10th or something like that.
Dude, I remember the postseason like autopsy thing that he did after the 2021, after the NC State series. It was like a week or 10 days after that, and it was like a 56-minute Zoom press conference. Like that dude answered every question. Those are golden. Like that's material for weeks.
Yeah, it's always nice whenever you've had that like 10 days where he's had a bunch of conversations, he's gotten a feel for where people are leaning, and he always kind of lets you know without saying it.
Yeah.
Like I remember in that 2021 one, him being like, yeah, Connor Nolan and Zeb Vermillion, they're coming back. We feel good about them, and yeah, it's gonna be great.
Good old Zeb Vermillion. What's he up to?
No clue what he's doing. He had a little bit of a pro career, but no, I don't think he's doing much these days.
Yeah. Let's see. A few other chats here. A sweet Arkansas gal, which we always love hearing from. She said it felt good. They fought to the end when we were down 3-2, though it was over. Thomas and Iredale kept us alive. I felt proud of them. So
they did fight to the end, man. And like I know that last inning was horrible. They fought and lost the fight. Got TKO'd. Which you remember we had that conversation about the what if last night if Charles Davlin had gotten knocked unconscious by the ball. We'll tell that story another day. But
it was very close. Unfortunately,
very close. But no, they did lose the fight. They did, but like they did fight. And you could see how bad they wanted it, man. And like just again, it would have probably made it easier had they just rolled over and quit, because we could just be like, damn it, they just weren't good enough. They damn. But man, they scored 2 runs in the 8th, 2 runs in the 9th. Tough.
Yep. I guess if we were going to give a little positivity, our MVPs for a pitcher and a hitter for Razorbacks in the College World Series, it'd have to be Justin Thomas and Gage Wood, right? Like 100%.
For sure.
Yes.
Okay.
Justin Thomas, I think he was 8 for 14.
That's insane.
Unbelievable.
Man.
And I don't think he had a hit in the first game. He had 8 hits in 3 games. In the 2 wins and 1 loss for Arkansas.
His average was 273 coming in to the Murray State game, and he was over 300 by the end.
Crazy.
That's absurd.
And
I should have had the most important clutch swing, in Razorback sports history, low key. Because he drove in 2 runs in the 9th inning of an elimination game like that. That's massive.
Yeah, and I don't want to live too much into the moment or anything, or like downplay, because I think we've always known he's a good player, but I don't think anybody expected going into the College World Series your best hitter and the guy that was going to come up big in clutch moments was going to be Justin Thomas. I don't even think he was a name that people would have first rattled off, but sometimes in those situations, those type of players make big plays, and that's what was great about it.
Kopesky, 16 runs and 16 hits are not the same thing.
Yeah.
This is an inaccurate 16 runs for a game. Okay, not great, but that's not the same as 16 hits.
Yeah.
But no, Justin Thomas, no doubt the MVP. And listen, there's so many guys from the pitching side of things that we could point to. Gabe Gackle, I feel like I don't know if he has to be on the all tournament team or whatever for a relief pitcher. There's not a relief pitcher who did better and more gutsy than Gabe Gackle. For him to be ready like that and put it all on the line for Arkansas. And honestly, I'm surprised more people aren't doing the thing where they're like, should have stuck with Gackle. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, obviously, we all understood in the moment. We were all perfectly fine with it. It felt like he had given them everything he could. But I'm surprised in hindsight that more people haven't been like, oh, why don't you just roll with Gackle?
Yeah. I mean, there's been about 18,000 different things that we've seen people say, like, you should have done this. But,
yeah.
I mean, it's probably somebody said that at some point in time. I mean, there's probably somebody that said, you should have brought in Hunter Dietz. Like there's going to be everybody's coming up with random examples of everything.
That would have been electric if they went to Hunter Dietz.
That would have been electric would have been one way to put it. Let's see. We got Jeff over here just saying, hey, I am low-key looking forward to the Arkansas State football game. People can trash it all they want, but the silent majority wanted to see this happen.
Okay, I want to push back against the silent majority part. Silent majority? I don't know about that.
Is it possible to have a silent majority?
Yeah, there is.
I guess.
Like
everyone agrees with it, they just don't say it?
I mean, like, I feel like every election season that happens. You know
Why
what I mean?
would anyone want this game to happen?
I don't know, man. I mean, I'm sure there's some people in the state of Arkansas, in Jonesboro or wherever, that do want it to happen, but I don't know if I can get behind silent majority. There are some people who are happy for it, but I don't know, man. Also, I would like to be sold on it. Like, I would like for someone to explain to me why I should be excited about it.
Yeah.
Especially from the Arkansas standpoint. Like, obviously, I get why Arkansas State wants to play Arkansas from the Arkansas standpoint.
Right. Yeah.
Well, I will say this. As a guy who did sports talk radio in Little Rock, in that area, which a lot of people are, the reason that got thrown to me, and I kid you not, and I laughed and made fun of everyone that said this, is because, well, it keeps the money in the state. I'm like, who cares? What do you think the University of Arkansas Athletic Department's like? We want to make sure that we don't give the money over there to Louisiana Tech or Missouri State. We want to give the money to Arkansas State. Like, that's the stupidest thing I've ever heard in my life.
Yeah, the tons of in-state revenue. I mean,
what is that?
Who
cares?
When did the War Memorial?
When
did the War Memorial game become this needle mover in the financial department? It's like there's like 20,000 people that go to that game. It's not like this is going to stimulate the economy in Arkansas. What the hell are we talking about? Like, listen, like I'm gonna, we'll watch the game. We'll be excited. We'll probably even go down for it. But like, what the hell are we talking about, bro? What the hell?
Yeah, like it's like
we got to stimulate the economy, bro. What are you talking about?
And KG, big KG, I'm not attacking you, but he says it's better off going to Arkansas State than checks notes Pine Bluff. Yes, because Pine Bluff is in the University of Arkansas system. Because who's paying these schools? The University of Arkansas is. Like, Arkansas is not going to make any money in this. So why does the University of Arkansas play UAPB? Because it keeps it within the same system of the university systems. Playing Arkansas State. Like, that's the whole thing about it, man. We're already starting to talk about this. This is a summer topic if I've ever heard one. But it's about going towards, like, making it to the best competitive advantage you have. There is zero advantage to this and reason for Arkansas to do it. Zero. There's no benefit to them at all. That has been my whole deal about this whole thing. The only people that benefit this is Arkansas State, War Memorial Stadium, and some weirdo fans that think it'd be fun to see. That's the only people that benefits.
Yeah. Do you think do we really think, and obviously we'll probably have this conversation again in the fall, do we think there's going to be like a crowd that shows up for that? Because the last like 7 or 8 more Memorial games have not been big.
There'll be honestly, truly, because it's the first one, it'll be a lot. But if anyone thinks that like, they're going to keep doing this, then you're going to see people be like, okay. And also, listen, it's bad enough. Do you really want to like start showcasing that you have a rivalry with a Sun Belt team?
Yeah.
Like, do we really want to do that? Like,
I totally kicked that crackhead's ass the other day, man.
Yeah.
I killed him.
That's how it's going to feel, man. So anyways, like I said, we could save that for some other summer topics and all that. But no, that one did make me laugh.
That's why I started, because I knew it'd fire us up.
Oh, yeah. get things going crazy. Let's see. Also, Bo's just saying, hope we pay Davlon to come back so we can have better lasting memory than him as in a Hog uniform.
I know, man. It's kind of crazy. So, the last time I checked MLB Pipeline, he was projected as the number 55 overall prospect. Now, I believe they may have even updated that today. I'll need to go back and look at that. If he is drafted anywhere in those top 3 rounds, which that would qualify, I don't know how, unless some team just lowballs him, unless he just, doesn't like the vibes he gets or what. I mean, because if you're drafting the top 3 rounds, that's over $1 million. That's $1 million plus signing bonus type stuff. And I do not think Arkansas is going to want to pay Charles Davlon $1 million.
No.
I mean, maybe they do. And I'm not saying like, hey, he's not deserving. I just don't think that's necessarily what's going to happen here. So I think what would have to happen is him to have to drop to like that 5th, 6th, 7th round because he is a sophomore. He could come back, have a monster year, and still get signed for all that. Whereas when you're a junior, you don't really have that option, which is why I ultimately think Justin Thomas Jr. is actually more of a lock to leave than Charles Davalon, weirdly enough. But, I think Charles will probably make a lot of money and be fine. But, boy, I would love it. Would love for Charles Davalon to come right the wrong, man.
Yep, it would be great, too. We'll continue on here on the show, folks. Appreciate everybody listening in, but want to remind everybody that our coverage up here with the College World Series was brought to you in part by our friends over at Hickey and Hole Law, where divorce and custody cases are far too important to try to face alone. Let Hickey and Hole provide you with that persistent and diligent representation to help guide you through the entire process, where they have handled thousands of family law cases, is experienced nearly every scenario that has come up. So the foundation of a strong attorney-client relationship is honesty and trust. Hickey and Hole Law prides themselves on building relationships and their clients by providing honest, principled advice as well as great representation. Hickey and Hole Law offices, they have them across the state of Arkansas, in Fayetteville and in Fort Smith and Little Rock, as well as Mena. You can call them today at 479-434-2414. That's 479-434-2414. Or you can check out their website. Visit hickeyandhole.com or scan the QR code right there at the top right corner of your screen. It's Hickey and Hole Law. Things are about to get better. Which I know you didn't want to say that last night, Andrew. But things are going to get better.
I refuse to read
I refused that last line. And he's like, which is so funny because I'm like, oh, yeah, they'll get better because it can't get much worse. We slipped into the 7th circle of hell. Like, it was like, don't worry. It is for sure going to get better. But anyways, let's see. We won. There's a few other chats here, too. I guess you started this, but Hannah Ratio says, Andrew, thoughts on Pittman not showing up for any games or making these statements on social media?
I want to be careful here because like I don't think Sam, this is like a malicious Sam's like, screw those guys, I ain't tweeting nothing. I think he probably has his reasons for not tweeting or not saying anything. I don't know what they are. All I know is like I can just go off of what you put out there and what you don't put out there. And it would have been nice to see the head coach of the football team support a coach that has supported him, that traveled to freaking Arlington to go watch him beat A&M in week 4 in 2021. Like, dropped everything. I was like, yeah, if you want me to be there, I'm there. And I'm sure Dave didn't call Sam and be like, hey, please come to Omaha. But it's just kind of what you do. And it's what all these coaches at the university do all the time. Like Hunter Yurchek, he doesn't want to be here, but he's here. He shows up. He comes to the events and it's like, okay, yeah, I got to be here. Got to support the guys. John Calipari, he's on the Pat McAfee show like 3 days a week. He's doing all this stuff. He showed up
here.
He showed up in Omaha and hung out with us at DJ's Dugout. It would not have been that hard. And look, I don't know. I mean, I'm sure Sam's got stuff going on. I'm sure he's having a great time. If you're not going to be here, that's fine. I understand you can't just drop everything, come to Omaha. Why can't you just be like, hey, woo pig, hope they win. Shout out to Dave Van Horn, who's supported me and, all these other people that support me all the time. I don't know. I don't know whose decision that was. I do trust that it wasn't Sam's. Like, I'm sure Sam didn't I'm sure someone told him not to. I don't know why. I just don't understand why you can't just fire off a best of luck to the guys. We support them. Obligatory statement.
Yeah.
Or have one of whoever runs your account do it.
Yeah.
Right.
Or whoever runs the account without even telling Sam should have just done it.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's like in the grand scheme of things, it may seem as just such a small thing, but it is one of those things that irks me a little bit just because it's like, I get it. Like, it's not saying you got to go above and beyond. And I'm not saying you have to be here. It would have been cool, but you don't have to be here. But to not even really say anything, I mean, for crying out loud, it's just, I don't know. I just thought it was strange, especially seeing like, I saw Courtney Deifold. She went through the heartbreaks of heartbreak for the 3rd straight year, and she's showing up to games, sitting with the fans.
Yeah.
Like just
tweeting about Gage Wood no hitter. Yeah, when Duke goes a no hitter, can't just be like, "Hey, shout out to Gage Wood of Arkansas."
That was pretty cool.
People would have really. I mean, honestly, they would have appreciated the old Sam Pittman line of "He's Arkansas."
Yeah,
dude, I think about that all the time.
Perfect.
Yeah. Yep, missed out on an opportunity there for sure.
They need to let me run his Twitter account.
Yeah,
seriously.
I mean,
listen, I'm not gonna forget that, man. I'm definitely like. And I love Sam Pittman. I really do. Like, he is Arkansas. He's one of our guys. He's part of this effed up family that we live in. But that disappointed me a little bit.
Yep. Let's see. Big Lefty says, I said every 4-letter word I knew and some I didn't even know I knew. directed at our players and coaches, but I didn't get on social media to say it. Woke up this morning and still love my Hogs.
I am not proud of how loud and aggressively I screamed the F word walking out of that stadium last night.
Yeah, Curtis actually bent down to do it. He like got down to where like he could direct it like just like so he wasn't like screaming it outwardly, upwardly.
Trying to muffle it the best I could, but get it out. That way it was just done.
Yeah, no, I like that. And I love that comment from Big Lefty because I think it's like, well, there's a lot of people who should just do that. You know what I mean? Like, listen, we all are mad. We all said everything. We even probably muttered some things under our breath that we shouldn't have. But they're like, I don't understand why people are like, I have the right to do this. I must tweet at Vevo Loy and call him a slur. I'm like, wait, what? It's like, well, I'm mad. The team lost. I can do it. It's like, why do you have like, why do you, it's like, you can't tell me how to feel. I'm like, why do you want to do that? Like, I don't understand like why we can't just like be upset, be mad, but like, don't go out and say it towards those people. Like, you don't have to tag those people on Twitter. You don't have to come in our chat and make us miserable and all that. You don't have to say do the bits. It's like, what's wrong with just like being sad and just keeping it to yourself a little bit? And I'm not saying y'all can't express yourselves and can't, we really do want you to do that, but it's like, it's bizarre to me that people, because if you really feel that way about the players and about the program to the point where you want to say it publicly, it's like, dang.
Mm-hmm. Well, also, and I get, and can be the same way across any sport and any board. Don't tell me it's like, oh, well, these guys get paid so I can say this. That's the stupidest thing I've ever heard in my life. It's like, well, now, okay, so now they're making a couple bucks. I could just roll off all the F-bombs I want to. Like, that's the stupidest thing I've ever heard.
Why were you waiting for like a moment where it's like you're looking for an opportunity? It's like, well, now that he's paid, now I can say some stuff. Yeah. It's like, I just don't understand that, man.
Yeah, I don't get that logic behind anything. But yeah, listen, on as weird as it is, this guy, I wish I took it out of the chat, but whoever it was that said, like, I was yelling at the TV or yelling at the coaches and players on that. I'm like, I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, yeah, that's totally fine. I mean, you don't do what you want to do. But, yeah, don't do it publicly. Don't do it directly. That's just messed up, man.
I mean, and look, like, and I was telling y'all this earlier, that, like, there's a lot of my fandom, of course, with Arkansas is its own unique thing. But it's like there's a lot of things that I'm fans of, like the Houston Astros, like all the Houston sports teams. I'm a fan of all those teams. I don't feel about them the way I feel about Arkansas. And so it's not even a thing where it's like, hey, you have to love everything. You have to love it the way we do. Because I understand there's probably a lot of you that view Arkansas the way I view pro sports teams, where it's like happy when they win. You'll tap in for the playoffs, but you're not really like living and dying with it. And if you feel that way, like that's fine. But like, I don't go on Astros blogs and like tweet crazy stuff just like, because I don't view them that way. It's like, I don't know. It is kind of just weird to me how people view that, how people approach things sometimes.
Yeah, there's that. So again, we'll continue with your chats, folks, but always want to give a shout out to all the people who made it possible for us to come up here to Omaha to cover the College World Series. So a huge shout out to our friends over at Radiant Elements Medical Spa, because I'm going to tell you something. If there's a time where you Razorback fans need a little bit of self-care, I think now would be the time to go ahead and book your appointment with Radiant Elements Medical Spa, where they have that deep tissue sports massage and infrared sauna that help you bounce back faster, hit the weights harder, and stay in the game, and also just stay sane, because a lot of you probably had a lot of stress, maybe even aged a few years after last night. But it's not something that makes you soft. It's something that'll make you get back after it the very next day. So it's the great spot, one of the greatest massages, one of the greatest people that will take care of you and make sure you're back out at it. So check them out at Weddington and that Weddington Plaza right next to the Lions Main, or you can book your appointment online with this QR code right there at the top right corner of the screen. And when you do that, you get 15% off your very first service. And it's worth it, folks. Trust me, it is 100% worth it. Go ahead, get after it, get some self-care, get some spa treatment, and do it with Radiant Elements Medical Spa, self-care for everyone. So, I really appreciate them jumping in and helping us out here, too, because, we got a few chats here. We got about 15 minutes left here, but also, I like this from Logan. He's like, I wish Alumni Hall has a Davalon jersey, man. Will forever be my favorite baseball hog, electric energy.
I thought about Logan a lot because he texts me all the time about Charles Davalon, how much he loves watching him play, loves his energy and all that. And I know he was hurting just like we were hurting, and just like Charles was hurting.
Mm-hmm. So Charles Davalon and DJ Wagner. Those are Logan's guys right there. Yes, I know. I was hoping my DJ Wagner brought some good luck last night, but it didn't, so I may have to burn it. Let's see. Also, Sam's jukebox. I like this. He's like, "What time is first pitch tonight? I had to get the kids to bed before the bottom of the ninth inning, and we haven't seen the game time for tonight." Yeah, well,
it's postponed due to oops.
Yeah, having a big old oopsie. Check the papers; they'll probably tell you what time it's in. Let's see. Also, Tyler. Yeah, I did see this. Tyler. He says, "I sent a message to the Inside Arkansas website, but we're okay long term. Athletic department is still in good shape. 2 Hall of Fame coaches, Sweet 16 basketball, Final Four in baseball." Got to storm the field in football. Well, at least you got to storm the field.
Listen,
yeah.
I mean, listen, that was the cool thing.
Yeah. I mean, it's sad that was the one cool thing, but it was the cool thing nonetheless. So, Shelby wants to know, where do we think Frazier fits next year?
I hate to be that guy, but that's not how you spell his name. He does spell it a little weird. It's Fraser. Frazier's interesting, obviously, and I hate to say this, but anybody who is not an everyday starter as a position player, you can never assume they're coming back. And that's not my way of saying, hey, Gabe Frazier's hitting the portal, he's out of here. I don't know. I have not spoken to him. I have not spoken to his dad. Have no idea. But anybody who wasn't an everyday player, you can't outright assume they're coming back. So I don't want to do that necessarily. But I mean, he's the good thing about him is he could play short. He could play third. He could play second. He could play first if they really wanted to go that route. They've actually worked him out in the outfield. Matter of fact, in the fall, I remember him dropping a fly ball in the outfield, but he got some more reps out of there. Maybe he gets a little bit more comfortable. Maybe that's a direction they go. I'm interested to see. I don't know where he's playing summer ball at, but I'll be very interested to see what he does because that's going to be big for him. Any of these guys that don't get consistent ABs during the season, it's huge for them to go out and play. This time last year, Reese Robinette was not even with the team, was out in the Coastal Plains League getting those reps, getting those ABs, and then we see him now here starting. And so Gabe Frazier absolutely could be that kind of guy. Really talented prospect. I like him. I like his game. I like his skill set. He's just well-rounded, left-handed bat. I think he could play any of those infield spots. And so he's kind of a nice piece to have because you don't have to shoehorn him in anywhere. Whereas like a guy like Kahio Aloy, it's like, he's pretty much playing DH or right field, and we'll build around him. Gabe Frazier's a guy that you can kind of move wherever you need to.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
That threw me off.
Yeah, it did to me. It's yeah.
You talking
about y'all are crazy, man. Y'all are crazy coming up with these YouTube accounts, man. It's just like
it would be so awesome if it was really Trey, though.
I would have been awesome. That would have been awesome. Jeez. Oh gosh. Okay. Also, hey, shout out to C Swoosh. We got to meet him up here in Omaha.
Good pizza.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah, I know it was good meeting you, man. Sorry we couldn't hang out with you more. It's just like one of those things we just have so much going on. But he said the culture of social media makes so many people feel entitled to say whatever they want, unfortunately, which is true.
Yep.
Which is true. So, I mean, for crying out loud.
We were talking about silent majorities earlier. Sometimes you see a lot of loud minority, and I don't mean that sounded kind of weird. That sounded kind of weird
today.
Yeah, no, I didn't like that. I'm sorry. I apologize. I apologize. It's not what I meant. I meant that sometimes
context people.
You mean like a group of people that like a smaller group of people, but they're the ones we hear a lot. Like again, we say this that there's a lot of fans that are just normal that watch the games and feel what they feel, have their ups and downs, that don't comment and tell the kids that they suck.
Right. That's right.
And so I think on social media, we see a lot of that where I have to remind myself all the time, social media is not real life, like it really isn't. And it's always nice to be around people in the games that are there and really believing in all that. I'm sorry, John.
It's incredibly effective recovery right there.
Like, it's like, here's one of the things I love about Ellis in this weirdest way is because I'm sitting here listening to him and it's fine. I'm like, I know I'm following him. But he makes it so much worse because then he's like, I got to explain this. And it's something that probably the most, like the vast majority of people aren't even thinking about. But then you're like, oh, well, I guess it didn't. And then they start making it. You make it worse. And you're I'm not talking about that.
The worst was the Carter Knox loving chicken.
That was crazy.
I mean, Carter Knox calls himself the chicken man. And I was like, yeah, this is the chicken lover, Carter Knox. And yeah, Big Lefty says, it's Juneteenth, man. It's freaking Juneteenth. And I'm over here saying loud minority, man. That's crazy.
Golly, dude. It's just
crazy.
Like we gotta get out of Omaha, man.
Yeah,
we gotta get out of Omaha here soon. Jeez, man. We're gonna get so in trouble. Can't wait to see a screenshot of that get sent to somebody.
My jaw hurts.
Yeah, and that was
A 4'11" bald guy is going to be really mad about this.
Jeez. All right. Let's give a shout out to our friends over at BetSaracen, the BetSaracen app, the #1 sports betting app in the state of Arkansas. It's not even close. A lot of you did a lot of those specials, and some of them hit, some of them didn't. But you know what? You were so anti-Razorback, you may have won a lot of money. But either way, they're still going to have some College World Series specials going on. We know the Major League Baseball is going on here in the summertime. And have plenty of that. And hey, listen, there's futures on college football. So you're already moving on to the football season. Getting on some of those future bets and specials with the BetSaracen app. You can download it on your iPhone or on your Android. And you can also go to BetSaracen.com to get to betting that way too. So, all right, guys, just as we get closer to wrapping up here, looking back on our time here at Omaha, besides like the game itself and stuff, just, what are you going to remember? What were some of the highlights that we're going to remember in our trip up here to the College World Series in Omaha?
Andrew saying loud minority.
That's it. That's it. We're going out on the highlight right there.
I mean, I don't know how you can't start with the no-hitter. I mean, that was it stinks that this ended the way it did, because that was, I mean, up there on one of the coolest things I've ever witnessed in person. That was unbelievable, something that we're going to be talking about forever. I mean, it literally is like the kind of stuff you tell your grandkids about, so that, and then I'll probably never forget the meal that we ate across the street.
Yeah, that was great.
Man, oh man.
Yeah.
Jay Gilbert's.
Yep.
Yes.
Oh, buddy. That was a feast.
Yep. Shout out to James Jacobs and his wife Kelly for that. That was awesome.
Yeah. I mean, of course, Gage Wood is going to be the performance that, again, we will never see anything like that. That meant so much to see a kid from Arkansas, repping Arkansas, and just embracing that, embracing the hog to the fullest. A legendary performance that should never be forgotten, and I can't wait to see how much money it made him this summer. That's going to be awesome. But seriously, like, I think the thing that it's really going to stick out to me is just being in the fan base and really being in the foxhole with all these guys. And not to make it about myself, but I like to do that a lot. I remember in 2022 when I came here as an employee of a different place, and I was younger in my career. I had not done that much. I was just kind of writing. I wasn't in a podcasting video thing, but there were zero people who were like, "Oh, hey, you're Andrew Ellis. You cover the Hogs." Like, nobody recognized me. Nobody, like Kendall Rogers, didn't know who I was. Like, all these guys in the press box, nobody said anything. And this time around, it was different. And I think us being a part of the fan base helps. And we spend a lot of time in places like this doing stuff with the fans, and so that's cool. And so I think I said it the other day that baseball kind of marks the times in my life. Like, I remember exactly what I was doing in my life in 2004, 2009, 12, 15, 18, all of it. I will remember, like, this will be another chapter of like me remembering being here, because I feel like for us, it's kind of, we compared it to last year, but it's like, this is a cool moment for us that we'll be able to look back on and be like, man, this is kind of, our Inside Arkansas was on its upswing, and here we were. And then hopefully we'll be able to look back in a decade with a couple rings, and we're like, man, it's nice that we didn't know those rings were coming, but we felt that in the moment. And so honestly, man, like, just being here all week, being with the Hog fans, being with the, right across the street from the team and all that, it's just been a lot of fun. It's been one of many career highlights that we've been racking up here lately.
No, yeah. Like, listen, I know that you guys basically said it all, but I know that we have been working pretty much since we got here. Like, I know people just think, we roll out we get hammered every night, and then we roll out of bed hungover the next morning. We sit here at DJs. We just, BS for an hour or so, and then just go and get drunk again, and then just party all the time. It's a lot of work. It really is. And, we want to put in that work because we want to try to make the best content we can for this. But, there's just so many great highlights about this besides the field. Obviously, being here in Omaha, and I'm going to say it because I'm feeling like I'm getting older and older by the day. The weather. This was the best. This was the best weather you could have had in Omaha. I know it got a little almost dicey there with rain. Wasn't us. Wasn't our game that got rain.
Tried to help us. God tried to help us there.
Yeah, but all the time weather. I mean, yesterday may have been the most perfect weather you could ever ask. So there's that. DJ's Dugout and Sunny.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, they always treat us so great here and roll out the red carpet for us. She went above and beyond, making sure that we were always taken care of, that we were always feeling at home. Got us everything that we needed. If we needed food, she got us food. If we needed drinks, she got us drinks. We needed Ethernet for our setup here. She got it for us. So shout out to Sonny, shout out to DJ's Dugout. This is why we will always, anytime we come back to Omaha for all the College World Series, our appearances, Arkansas's making, we're always going to be back right here at DJ's because I appreciate them. Appreciate Wes and his wife for what they do for not only letting us be able to be in their home, but just providing it in a place and in a time where, they could have rented out that space for thousands. How much it is here. And they were kind enough to let us have it. And we really appreciate Wes and his wife for doing that for us. And obviously all of our sponsors that have been a part of it and making it possible. Every single one of them. We appreciate you so much for this. I could just go on and on. I feel like it's an Oscar speech, but it's just truly, that's what, again, we talk about that microcosm of what happened on the field last night, but the entire big picture adventure, man, is awesome. And it was the same way like in basketball, Curse. I know you felt the same way where, that Texas Tech game in the ending sucked. But that journey, going to Providence, going to San Fran, getting almost shot up in a Waymo, like all the stuff that we did and all that, it was great. And it was because of
the pig.
It's because of the Razorbacks. It was because of people that watch us. It was because of people who sponsor us. It was because of people who are kind to us. We're so incredibly grateful for all of it. And I would have loved for the circumstances to be different with Arkansas's game last night, but there's no doubt that I truly appreciate and love every single thing about this trip. I'm tired. I'm exhausted. We're all ready to get home. Wish we could have stayed longer for Arkansas to keep winning, but I have no regrets. I have no problems. I do not 1 second say, man, I wish we wouldn't have done this. Nope. I'm 100% all about it, and we appreciate everybody a part of it.
Yeah, I like this comment from Big 88 Fox Body Fan. Interesting name there. But he says, can't lie, this academic year, y'all have literally been coast to coast. Been a heck of a ride. And look at it from a big picture standpoint. You're like, all right, Liberty Bowl football season. You make it to the Sweet 16, not a great regular season, but you make it to Sweet 16 in basketball. That's pretty cool. You get to Omaha, but it's, you kind of feel like you missed your opportunity there. I could see how someone would look at that from a big picture and be like, it wasn't that great of an athletic season, just or in the academic calendar. I think about a lot of those memories, like you said, those memories that we made across the country. It's kind of funny. We go East Coast, West Coast, and now we are like dead smack in the middle of the country here in Omaha. And it's been a crazy journey, man. And it's like, you as a Razorback fan, you never know what to expect with the sports, but like in our job and what we do, it's like, we're just kind of ready to do whatever. And we're ready to go to Providence, ready to go to San Fran, ready to go to Omaha. Curtis is flying from freaking New York to Omaha to get here. It's like, man, we will always have new things to go experience, new tasks to go figure out, and shows to do. And it's a whirlwind, but man, I wouldn't want to be doing anything else, man. It's been a pretty awesome year.
No, there's no doubt about it, man. It's rewarding on a whole lot of different levels, and I'm sick of talking about it, but and you kind of hinted at it earlier when we were talking about how we felt right now compared to this time last year. And man, that was tough, the way all that went down. And now that we're kind of closing our first year of just relaunching this thing, because when we did it, the reason that we started over, and continue to do this and rebranded and all that is because we were so confident in what we were doing and that it would work and that we loved it and that we wanted to do it and that we wanted to do it together. And we had no idea, though. We had no idea what it was going to look like. And if we went off the experiences that we had, we're not talking about the nonsense there, but it was like, man, the teams, like the basketball team stunk, and then what happened to baseball happened, and we're like, gosh, man, like this is crazy. Maybe it was just like a sign or something, but we didn't do that. We didn't believe that, and we kept plugging away. And now we've had to have all these experiences, and that's exactly what we wanted out of this. And to see the growth and the support from everybody through all this has just been awesome. It's humbling. It's crazy. It still feels weird to me that people tune in and make us part of their day every day. And, it's just, it's really, really cool. And I'm fortunate and I'm happy. No two guys out there that I'd rather be doing this with for sure. And, we're thinking about our best memories and everything, from here. And I'm like, honestly, the things that I'm going to remember the most from this, if I'm just telling the absolute truth, is some of the things that you guys have said off the air the last couple of days that just have had me dying. Andrew singing in the shower. Like, I wonder if Wes heard you singing the Van Helsing thing the other day. Just between that and some of the things that John Neighbors has said.
John said some crazy stuff.
that we can't say on the air, but you guys are hilarious, man. And it's really, really fun. It's been a blast to do this together.
Yeah. I completely echo that, man. And it's also showing it and everybody, and we knew this, but I think it's also showing, hey, wherever the Razorbacks go, we're going to be there. Yeah. You know, whether it's the NCAA tournament, no matter if it's in frickin' Providence or San Francisco, we're going to be there. No matter if it's the College World Series here in Omaha, or if we have to go to a regional or super regional over in Chapel Hill, we're going to be there. We're going to always be where the Razorbacks are because that's what we talk about. And that's what we do. So, I mean, again, it's a very rewarding trip. It's a very great trip. We really appreciate it. But we also have to do two things before we roll out here. First off, we got to go ahead and hit the button. Shout out to our guy, Dre of Basis Health. Appreciate you, man. He said, dinner on me, boys. Thanks for all you do. Thank you, Dre. Thanks for your partnership.
Dre's the man.
Yeah, he's awesome. And we love you, man, and appreciate you and all your support. And he also wants you to know, Andrew, that he is a well-spoken minority.
Well, we appreciate that. That.
Yeah. But man, yeah. Again, this was great things. Oh, just Charlie.
Charlie Shepard.
Yeah, he said later, thank you guys, and all of that. So, but man, you see now you guys are starting to get me some chats here too, because then St. Lucia says, wish Bob was here. Worked with him many years ago. He would have found this really particular moment fascinating. Appreciate the friendship you guys have with him. He's deeply missed and unappreciated. Absolutely.
Yeah.
We miss Bob.
It's hard. Man, every time I hear Bob's name or see Bob's name, I just like stop in my tracks and it's like it hits me again. Good Lord, this is an emotional stream right here, man.
Yeah,
but
goodness gracious.
I'll never stop missing Bob, man, and I'll never stop like wishing I could hear his perspective on everything. You know, just hear him talk about the plays and just everything. Like I just wish he were. I wish he were a text or a phone call or just a short walk down Dixon Way.
Yeah,
like he normally was.
Yeah, I can just hear him, talking about that play last night. Some you guys, I'm just starting to think that this team might actually be cursed, guys. Just like just being very astute, very inquisitive about everything. But either way, but I mean, again, everybody, we really appreciate y'all so much for making us a part of your journey and believing in us and trusting in us and making us a part of your day every day, because this is awesome. And we can't wait to do it again next season when Arkansas comes back to Omaha for the College World Series to win the whole dadgum thing. They're going to do it next year. I promise you.
Shout out
Nobody's going to remember that. Yeah. Shout out to Phil, who's right down here. And also real quick, I don't want to talk to Phil too much. You can tell he's as impacted as anybody when it came to last night.
Yeah,
so I can understand.
He's a hog, man.
Yeah,
he's a hog.
Yeah, he is. But hey, we're still going to keep doing it here. And Inside Arkansas, and we're still going to do Inside Arkansas live tomorrow. Pot at the Palace is still going to go on. Andrew Ellis's Bombastic podcast is still going to go on. Oh, Charlie Shepard, appreciate the super chat. He says, I don't care how many times they break my heart. Yep, same, because we're still going to talk about them. Highs and lows, come hell or high water. We're going to talk about the Hogs. But appreciate everybody. Appreciate the city of Omaha. Appreciate DJ's Dugout. Appreciate Wes and his wife for the hospitality. Appreciate all of our sponsors that made it possible. All of you who've come up to us, all of you that bought us food, drinks, I mean, everything, every single one of you, we appreciate so, so much. And we can't wait to continue on here at Inside Arkansas. So that does it for us here from the city of Omaha in the College World Series. For Andrew Ellis, as well as Curtis Wilkerson, I am John Neighbors. Same sports show, same sports channel tomorrow at noon, back in Fayetteville. Have a great rest of your day, everybody. We'll see you then.